Good afternoon, Dermers. Right, some of you chaps have been asking for a quick video demo of the boards for a while, so I've finally got my arse into gear. I don't have a ceiling fan, unlike Mr. Reb Hewlett, so I'm having to make do with the expedience of my phone propped on the edge of my desk. So if it drops off, you can all feel free to have a laugh. Anyway, I'm running what is basically a very simple Squier Jazzmaster through a solid-state Fender 85 amplifier, and the clean tone is something like this. So right at the start of the board we have, what you've just heard here actually is the boost section of the DVK that misses the compressor turned on. I like that because it's got a nice little fat crunch to it. So if you can hear it without. This also acts as a compressor, so you get the standard sparkly Ross style comp at the front. Right, next in line we've got the David Allen Love Pedal Bazooka, which is supposedly gives you that Fender brown face sound. The nice thing about this pedal is it's got 3 settings that simulates a speaker cabinet. So at the moment I think it's on the bassist one, which is the 412. The centre one is the 112. And then you've got a 212 setting. Which isn't at all bad actually. Right, next up in line we have made by New Noise Artifacts, which is actually Simon Langdon on the page if you want to check him out. He made me a very nice copy of the Crowther Audio Prunes and Custard, which is an intermodulation harmonic generator thingy there. Anyway, it sounds rather filthy. It actually sounds like this. Next up, we've got the Frederick Effects Green Russian, which is basically FNAR FNAR, a big muff. And you can get some pretty good sounds stacking the pair of those together. Right, now this is where things get a little bit nuts. We now have the Mega Berkatron made by Petalberd Effects, aka James Howard. Also check him out, he lives on Petalberd of Durham, so have a word with him. This thing is just sheer fucking lunacy. That's just in standard mode. We can then hit in the, oh Christ, what's this thing called? The Crash, which brings in a resynthesizer into the circuit. Great one for scaring your grandmother, that one. Right, next in line we've got the Super Ego, which is the EHX synth engine. So I've normally got it set up on the fairly standard slow rise setting. And you can add in a bit of fuzz for that and get a real My Bloody Valentine style sound. But the magic of this thing is in the effects loop, in which I've got the EHX POG 2, and this is a bit confusing, but it then goes from the POG 2 to the Eterna. So if I turn on the POG, really nuts, we can add in the Eterna Shimmer reverb into the mix as well. Quick double tap to turn that off. Next up, we've got the Electro Harmonic Super Pulsar, which is a tremolo. Not sure how I've got that set up at the moment, but I can't be bothered at the moment, so I'll just move swiftly on. That then goes into what passes for the only sort of vibrato and modulation on the board, which is the Mid-5 Pitch Pirate Deluxe. This is where things start getting a bit hairy. Next up, we're going to the, if I've got this right, the Dispatch Master. I wanted to have a reverb before it hits the delay section, and the Dispatch Master just does many things very well. It's impossible actually to get a bad sound out of it. Well, maybe it is when I'm playing it. After the Dispatch Master, only bugbear with that is that it's true bypass, so there's absolutely no trails associated with it, can't do anything about that. Seems to be something that Earthquake could do, in that they just do not like introducing trails into their circuits. Everything's true bypass, with the exception of the Avalanche Run, which I'll get onto in 8 bits. Anyway, then we go into the Nemesis. This is on the reverse setting. I'll be here all day explaining what this thing can do, but it will give you a rough idea. And if I just pop it onto the analog setting, you can get that sort of Boss DM2 vibe. In fact, if you get it on the right setting, it sounds even better. Right, after that, because I like stacking delays, it goes from the Nemesis into the Avalanche Run. I'm still only really starting to understand what the Avalanche Run can do. It's supposed to be a much more complicated or expanded version of the Dispatch Master. Sounds very good. Only downside of it is stupidly high current draw. Draws something like 425 milliamps, which is massive. It's getting into line 6 territory. Just to confuse matters even further, the Avalanche Run then goes into the After These. that to decay, go out, get a sandwich, grab a beer, anything you want, it'll just go on forever. That's actually a very mild setting for the afterneath. Then we hit the, God, I'm lost, where are we? Oh yeah, the Disaster Transport SR. Right, this is an interesting one. This is 2 parallel delays, but you can basically bleed one delay back into the other via the bleeds control, which gives you one delay running into the other, but still parallel with the other one. It's like a regen circuit. So if I turn the bleed up full, just by way of the comparison, if I take the bleed off, you should be able to hear the delays far more distinctly. Well, maybe not. There's not actually that much difference associated with this there. Oh well, never mind. Moving swiftly on, we then go into the Mr. Black Supermoon, which is the limited edition chrome version of the Supermoon. It's brighter, it has a longer decay, and if you like slow dive, as I've been known to do, you simply crank the reverb mix and off you go. Don't play the wrong chord at the end. We've then got the new neighbour, or new neighbour, or potato, whatever they call it, Seraphim, which is the bog standard mono version. Best thing about this is that you have 2 reverbs in one. You have the standard new neighbour wet reverb, which sounds lovely. A little bit of modulation in there. And then with one long press, you get the new neighbour shiver, 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 shiver. God, I'm sounding like Henning Pauly. Combining these two really is something else. Trails on the Seraphim, no trails on the Supermoon. It's true bypass. Right, where are we now? Right, okay, right. Next up, the Flux Effects Liquid Ambulance. Yeah, I know what it's called, but I just prefer calling it that. Again, reverb. I know, boring. Slag me off all you like. I don't care. I like reverb and delay. So sod you. It's an interesting one, this, because you can basically go on like a minus octave down voicing to an octave up voicing to a slight upward shift to a slight downward shift. And there's this lovely little function on here called More, which, if you press it, well, I'll just show you what it does. Which is pretty cool. Then finally, in the proper signal train, we've got the Caroline Meteore, which is supposed to sound like a tube train, apparently. And again, there's a special little function on this where if you press the other button... Actually, that's very loud, excuse me for a second. And that was the 545 to Bolton just passing through. Then right at the end of the train we've got the Ditto X2. No other reason than it's just a fairly easy to operate looper, and it's got the benefits over the the standard ditto, that it has a separate stop switch if you want to configure the effect switch that way. Anyway, there we go. I hope this is going to be legible, otherwise I've wasted 15 minutes of my life talking complete bollocks, but then again, you probably all know that I do that anyway. Take care, chaps, and Dermon, speak to you soon.